The Exodus, the epoch of Moses, unveils the extraordinary account of an unparalleled mass exodus from one of the world's most impregnable empires, where more than 2 million captives embarked on a breathtaking journey to freedom. This tale is a mesmerizing tapestry of prodigies, some of which have etched their indelible mark on the annals of biblical history. Leading this remarkable procession was Moses, a man who bore witness to more wonders than the combined experiences of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. These wonders, whether they appeared almost mystical, such as the transformation of Moses' staff into a serpent, or were the manipulation of natural phenomena by the divine, served as manifestations of God's mastery over all creation, devoted to the well-being of his people. Moses himself miraculously escaped an untimely death in infancy, as Pharaoh's edict demanded the drowning of male infants in the infested waters of the Nile, a story well known for its intent to curtail the growth of the Israelites. Yet, Moses, much like Joseph, found his home in the royal court, graced with the finest education the Egyptian empire could offer, all due to God's providence for the Jewish people. In the Old Testament, Moses stands as the second most prominent figure, eclipsed only by Abraham. However, his life as an Egyptian prince took an abrupt turn when he lost his temper and committed a grave act, compelling him to flee for his life. Moses' journey is nothing short of captivating: 40 years as a shepherd in the desert at the age of 40, followed by another 40 years living among the Israelites. Undoubtedly, the hand of God was his unwavering guide throughout. The encounter between Moses and the Lord through the burning bush is equally intriguing, not solely for the remarkable phenomenon of the bush itself but also for the dialogues and justifications that ensued. On hallowed ground, God bade Moses to remove his sandals, setting the stage for a divine revelation. It was there that Moses learned of his divine calling, destined to alter the course of history forever. The enigmatic figure tasked with leading the Israelites out of Egypt, Moses, offered 5 startling reasons to delay this divine mission. His initial explanation was a humbling declaration of insignificance. Moses then claimed ignorance, asserting he had nothing of significance to convey. His third excuse revolved around his perceived inability to convince the people that he had truly conversed with God. However, God reassured Moses, promising his divine power and miracles. Despite this, Moses continued with an unexpected revelation: his alleged incompetence in speaking due to a stutter. Intriguingly, God intervened by providing Moses with his brother, Aaron, as a spokesperson. The circumstances surrounding Moses' death remain shrouded in mystery. The Bible offers 3 cryptic references to his passing, infusing an aura of mysticism into the life and death of this revered prophet. Deuteronomy 34 verse 7 reveals that Moses lived to be 120 years old, his eyes never faltering, and his vigor undiminished, defying the ravages of time. When Moses was called home, he stood alone, leaning against a rock at the summit of Mount Nebo. He gazed across the Jordan River, beholding the promised land that he would never set foot in. His disobedience had barred him from entering the land of Canaan. Nevertheless, he led the Israelites to its very border. Moses was granted a vision of this land he had sought, just before his life's end. Climbing Mount Nebo from the plains of Moab to the pinnacle of Pisgah, the Lord unveiled the entirety of the land before him, as noted in Numbers 27:12-13. God instructed Moses to ascend Mount Abram and gaze upon the land he had bestowed upon the children of Israel. After this, Moses would join his people, just as his brother Aaron had. The reasons behind Moses' exclusion from the Promised Land are articulated in Deuteronomy 32 verses 51-52. It was due to his actions against me in the midst of the children of Israel at the waters of Meribah Kadesh in the wilderness of Zin, where he had not treated God as holy. As a result, Moses was allowed to glimpse the land but not to enter it, leaving the gift of Canaan to the children of Israel. The life and legacy of Moses are veiled in mystery, filled with astonishing excuses and a mystical end, offering readers a unique and captivating perspective on this iconic figure in history. In a time when divine promises and human flaws converged, an extraordinary incident unfolded in the heart of the wilderness. The faithful Moses, once shown the fabled promised land by the unwavering hand of God, faced an enigma that would haunt him for eternity. The Numbers chapter 20 etches the unforgettable story set at the enigmatic Meribah waters in Cades, a place where the Israelites, after a 40-year odyssey, reached the fringes of the elusive land they yearned for. Yet, as they thirsted for hope and sustenance, the once loyal community turned against their leaders, Moses and Aaron, for the bitter lack of water. With despair looming, Moses and Aaron embarked on a sacred quest, seeking the divine intervention that could quench the insatiable thirst of their people. In the sacred tent of congregation, they knelt before the Almighty, awaiting His divine decree. God's command echoed through the barren land. Moses and Aaron were charged with gathering the disheartened throngs, and a cryptic message was to be delivered to a silent, unyielding rock. It was from this very rock that the waters of life would gush forth. But what ensued was nothing short of astonishing. A seemingly angered Moses, driven by unseen forces, addressed his rebellious flock with thunderous words. A secret, a mystery, lay concealed within his actions as he struck the rock not once, but twice, with his staff. This enigmatic event, recorded in Numbers 20:1-13, marked the culmination of the Israelites' arduous journey as they reached the stark expanse of the desert of Zin. Their lamentations echoed through the desolation, and their questions surged like the ever-elusive waters they sought. In that pivotal moment, their fate hung in the balance, and the consequences of Moses' actions would be felt for generations to come. As the story unfolds, the reader is left with a profound sense of wonder, questioning the mysteries that lie beneath the surface of this ancient tale. What truly transpired at that desolate rock? Was it merely a moment of anger, or a manifestation of something deeper and more profound? The enigma of Meribah beckons, and the answers, like hidden springs, await discovery in the annals of history. Descendants of Israel, for this reason, ye shall not lead this assembly into the land I have granted you. These are the waters of Meribah, where the children of Israel contested the Lord's authority, and He revealed His sanctity among them. Water flowed from the rock as God had promised, but God immediately told Moses and Aaron that, as they had not shown enough faith to honor Him as holy, they would not lead the children of Israel to the promised land. The punishment may seem severe, but upon closer examination of Moses' actions, we notice several clear errors. Moses disobeyed a direct order from God. God had instructed Moses to speak to the rock, but instead, Moses struck it with his staff. While God had previously told Moses to strike the rock to bring forth water, the instructions were different in this case. God wanted Moses to have faith in Him, especially after being so close for so long. Moses didn't need to use force, all he had to do was obey God and trust that God would fulfill His promise. Furthermore, Moses seemed to take credit for bringing forth the water. He gathered the people around the rock and, in a way, attributed the miracle to himself, much like Aaron did. Instead of acknowledging God's role, Moses appeared to claim it for himself, and he did so publicly. God could not let this go unpunished and needed to ensure the Israelites understood His sanctity. In 1 Corinthians 10 verse 4, it is said, "All drank the same spiritual drink, for they drank from the spiritual rock that followed them, and the rock was Christ." The rock that provided water is used as a symbol of Christ. Just as in Exodus 17 verse 6 the rock was struck, Christ was crucified once for all in Hebrews 7 verse 27. He doesn't need to offer sacrifices daily for his own sins and those of the people because he did this once and for all by offering himself. When Moses struck the rock in Numbers 20, it could be seen as an image of prayer. Jesus was struck once and continues to provide living water to those who pray to him in faith. Through an act filled with anger, Roca shattered the biblical typology and essentially crucified Christ once more. In Exodus chapter 17, when the Lord commanded Moses to strike the rock, it seemed to establish an image of Christ as our Redeemer. The Bible repeatedly echoes in the Psalms of Isaiah that Christ is our rock and cornerstone, wounded and slain for our sake, and that he will make rivers of living water flow, salvation, in other words. Additionally, the book of Hebrews emphasizes that Christ died once and for all, rendering any further sacrifice unnecessary for our sins. Yet, the Lord instructed Moses differently in Numbers chapter 20, urging him to merely speak to the rock. This was to preserve the image created in Exodus chapter 17. However, when Moses decided to strike the rock once more, he shattered the carefully painted image from Exodus 17. Without divine correction, the distortion of this image would have persisted, potentially leading to the belief that Jesus, the rock, had to be repeatedly sacrificed and struck for our salvation. Consequently, God reprimanded Moses, ensuring a proper understanding of the rock's significance. This incident also led to Moses being barred from entering the Promised Land. Through this consequence, the Lord conveyed that we cannot enter salvation, analogous to the Promised Land, through our own works or the law, as symbolized by Moses. Instead, it's solely through the work of Jesus, Yeshua. Moses' punishment for disobedience, pride, and misrepresentation of Christ's sacrifice was profound. He was denied entry into the Promised Land, as seen in Numbers 20:12. Then the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Because you did not trust in me enough to honor me as holy in the sight of the Israelites, you will not bring this community into the land I give them." Despite this, Moses never complained about his punishment. Instead, he continued to lead the people faithfully and remain true to God, Deuteronomy 34 verses 1-6. In the remote heights of Mount Nebo, overlooking the Pisgah summit, a mystical encounter unfolded. There, in the presence of the ancient city of Jericho, a breathtaking vista of land unraveled. The Lord revealed a vast expanse, stretching from Gilead to Adon, encompassing the enigmatic territories of Naphtali, Ephraim, Manasseh, and Judah, all the way to the vast expanse of the Great Sea. The landscape, known as the Negev and the plain of the valley of Jericho with its palm-studded city, Jericho, seemed to hold a sacred promise. This, the Lord whispered, is the land of the oath, the land promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But there was a twist of fate. Though Moab al-Montenevo gazed upon it with his very eyes, he was destined never to set foot there. It was on this very soil that Moises, the devoted servant of the Lord, found his final rest, following the Lord's command. His tomb, shrouded in mystery, concealed in the Moabite valley, near Bet Peor, remained hidden from human eyes even to this day. Moises, a man of unwavering faith and honor, was granted a unique honor by the Lord, yet an enigmatic event loomed in the distant future, a divine revelation we shall explore later in this tale. The customary mourning period of 30 days surpassed the standard 7, a testament to the profound connection with this revered figure. As we face the inevitability of farewells, it's comforting to know that, as children of God, our grief here does not translate to the departed. We mourn, but they find peace. Though we may struggle, they rest in the presence of God. Centuries later, the Gospels hint at Moises conversing with Jesus atop a mount, yet the promised land remained elusive during his earthly life. He was laid to rest on Mount Nebo, not by his own people, but by a mysterious act of God. And the intrigue deepens when we turn to the book of Jude, verse 9, where an intriguing showdown unfolds. The archangel Michael contends with none other than Satan for the body of Moises. A tale that intertwines Moises with two enigmatic characters, Satan, the eternal adversary of God, and the enigmatic archangel Michael. In this intricate tapestry of history, one question remains: why did God, in his wisdom, choose to bury Moises in secret, devoid of a marker, an enigma hidden from sight to prevent his tomb from becoming a place of worship or idolatry, as was often the fate of such hallowed grounds in the story of Israel? This enigma, shrouded in the mists of time, continues to captivate curious minds. In the intricate tapestry of ancient scriptures, there exists a cosmic drama that captivates the imagination. It unveils a tale of celestial rebellion, where angels dared to defy their Creator. As the Genesis story declares the goodness of God's creation, a sinister figure emerged from the shadows. Satan, once a heavenly being, chose to challenge the Almighty. The ominous echoes of this rebellion resonate in the verses of Ezekiel 28 verse 15 and Isaiah 14 verses 12 to 17, painting a portrait of his fall. Satan's insidious influence reached its pinnacle when he tempted Eve in the tranquil Garden of Eden. The consequences were dire, casting humanity into the abyss of sin, as Genesis 3 verses 16 to 19 foretells. The Apostle Paul, in Romans 5 verse 12, likened this malevolent force to a serpent and a dragon, further shrouding Satan in enigmatic symbolism. As we delve into the apocalyptic visions of Revelation 12 verse 9, a more sinister image of Satan emerges, an accuser, a deceiver, a harbinger of falsehoods. His goal is to ensnare the unbelievers in spiritual bondage, as forewarned in 1 Timothy 4 verse 1. The Spirit clearly cautions us that in the latter days, some will stray from the faith, succumbing to deceitful spirits and doctrines of demons. But who is this Satan? According to the Bible, he is not a god, but a created being with a mind, emotions, and limitations. Job 1 illustrates his subservience to God's sovereignty. Contrary to popular beliefs, he neither rules over hell nor resides there. Hell serves as a place of condemnation for Satan and his demons, as Matthew 25 verse 41 elucidates. Satan's influence is not omnipresent, but he commands a legion of demons, known as the powers of this dark world, and spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms, Ephesians 6 verse 12. He strategically uses them to blind the minds of unbelievers, as 2 Corinthians 4 verse 4 emphasizes, preventing them from understanding the gospel. In the cosmic struggle of good versus evil, a key player emerges, Archangel Michael. One of the most prominent angelic figures in the Bible, Michael's role remains shrouded in mystery. What has he achieved? What are his functions? How does he fit into this celestial battle? The enigmatic dance between light and darkness, angels and demons, remains an eternal enigma, waiting to be unraveled by those who dare to explore the depths of these ancient scriptures. In the celestial army of God, Michael is the name of the archangel. This name raises the question of who can be compared to God. Many Jewish and non-Jewish parents who have named their sons Michael have no idea what the name truly means. This fleeting reference has sparked a debate among biblical scholars. We don't know when this debate about the angels occurred, but it likely took place during the burial of Moses. We understand why he and Michael argued over the body. He was on the opposite side of Moses when the angel arrived. He claimed ownership of this man because he had killed an Egyptian. However, the archangel Michael said, "The Lord rebuke you," and the angel buried Moses. It was an incredible ending to an incredible life. Before crossing the Jordan, the people murmured about him for a month, despite the mysteries that surrounded him. Scriptures teach us to obey legitimate authorities established over us, but false teachers deny authority in these matters. They answer to no one but themselves. Furthermore, the group slandered the glorious one. Jewish tradition describes a dispute over the body of Moses between the archangel and Michael, who refused to pronounce a curse. A mysterious accusation against the dark prince, not what the Lord spoke of, he rebuked the false teachers. However, they remained oblivious to the enigmatic realm of spiritual warfare, residing in a dreamlike world far removed from the spiritual reality. Instead of invoking the Lord like Michael, they blasphemed, failing to comprehend the gravity of engaging with Satan. They resembled irrational creatures, acting solely on instinct, as described by Judas. Similar to Cain, who offered a bloodless sacrifice, Balaam, who ministered only for profit, and Korah, who rebelled against spiritual authority, they all faced divine judgment. If you like this incredible biblical explanation and want to delve deeper into the knowledge of the Word, subscribe now and activate the notification bell. Don't forget to leave your like so that YouTube can recommend all the videos on the channel for you, and if you like this type of content and want to know more biblical explanations, watch the video that will be recommended below. Thank you and see you later.